We also were told there might be a vaccine, and now, holy cow, there's a vaccine. Andrew, are you ever going to get the vaccine? Because you're so young.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. You know, it's funny. I see comedians my age getting the vaccine, and I'm jealous. But it also lets me know which one of my friends is lying about being a first responder. So it's good to know who you know, who's who out there. But there is a lot of vaccine skepticism, which is, you know, it's surprising for a country that made Taco Bell so popular they had to serve breakfast. But I mean, it's a lot of people like, I want to know what goes in my body. It's like, well, sure, but that isn't steak. So
that's right.
It's not. It's plastic, chewy stuff. But I mean, like Europe is pausing, or I think they just restarted it, but they paused the AstraZeneca vaccine because of you know, all the blood clots. I know you and I watch the same scientist guy. I'm not even sure if he's a scientist. He just has a British accent, so he
sounds like one. He's he used to work with James Bond. He would give him all those cool gadgets. Yes.
Oh, cool. That adds up.
His name is Dr. John Campbell, and if you want to look him up on YouTube, he does once or twice a day analysis of current trends, and he is the smartest, best analyzer of data. But before you go on to that, Andrew, I do want to say this about you. There's some comedians out there who pretend they're first responders. I would say being a comedian isn't that different from being a kindergarten teacher. So I would go with teacher.
Yeah, I mean, the audience is drunk. They're on their phones. It's just like high school. So.
Or high school. Better joke.
Well, I was going to say kindergarten, but I thought drunk would be a little too far. But
no, that's a good one.
Oh, thank you. Well, you know,
every once in a while, by the way, I give Andrew a seed, and it turns into a joke, but it's never mine, right?
You can take credit for it. I mean, you know, you're taking credit for my money and everything else on this show, so you might as well claim that you helped write all the jokes. You know?
I did.
You definitely help. You know,
without my DNA, you'd be lost.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, without your sperm, you'd be lost.
Well, yeah, that's how I follow. When I get lost in the woods, I follow a trail. All right. Well, you know, so anyway, the Europe vaccine thing. So it's important to remember that these side effects are self-reported. So none of these have been confirmed. And so if you go down the list of symptoms, you'll find this is 100% real. Self-reported side effects include 42 reports of crying. There are 6 people that complained of teething, and literally 4 people claimed they got genital herpes from the vaccine. So,
that's rich.
Dr. Campbell.
Maybe they got it from a different prick, but.
Was that on Dr. Campbell's list? All that stuff?
No. I did more research into the thing because he's great about being apolitical and you know, just so he kind of covers that for 5 minutes and he goes, anyway, I don't want to. You know, I forget what the exact word, but he's like, I don't want to.
He'll roll his eyes whenever he gets a. He goes, I'll leave that for others to debate.
Yeah.
You know.
That's great.
Trump today drove around in a closed car with a bunch of Secret Service guys waving at fans while he was COVID active. Let's just leave it at that. Won't say anything.
It's great. Yeah. But I think Joe Biden's doing a great job. I mean, it's interesting when you see a Republican in office because it's kind of like the theme we've been talking about. If your job depends on something or not understanding something, you know, you won't. So like Republicans' whole message is the government doesn't work, so they spend all of their time trying to make the government not work for you, you know?
And they do a great job, yes.
Yeah, they do.
But now Biden's, I mean, we're 2 million shots a day now, which is crazy. And all these other countries in the world are struggling. And so you're like, oh, there is, you know, a competent leader in charge, and that's helpful, you know? Like he's calling in the National Guard to help administer the vaccine. And I know I'm wrong, but it always makes me think they're forcing people to take it by gunpoint. Like, I don't know what the National Guard does.
Does the National Guard ever say, please leave the building you've occupied?
Right.
Yeah.
But I think these should administer the vaccine from a needle that looks like a gun, and then more Americans would take it.
Take the shot, pansy.
And then schools will be way safer because every time there's a school shooting, it just turns into a mass vaccination.
By the way, a friend of mine, and for this part of the story, I'll keep it anonymous. But a friend of mine works